ToRaH GuArDiAN, speaking the absolute truth. ToRaH Nation. Shalom Yashar'el, Yahudah, Grafted Gentiles into the body of HaMashiach, strangers. Yes, you who love YAHUAH, who He has a place for in His kingdom. You know, the Most High has in the past done things to wake me up, right? And He would do it and then tell me to pray, right? Or He'll speak a word into me or something, right? He'll speak a word. And more recently, right, He wakes me straight up. But He doesn't say anything, or He doesn't urge me to do a thing, right? Which kind of got me thinking, you know? Maybe YAHUAH is at the place where, even in my life, that He doesn't want to have to tell me what to do. You know? I mean, I understand to get up, and I understand the discipline of prayer because I pray and I spend time with YAHUAH, but probably if I had my choice, I'd sleep through the night. I mean, that's just the way it is. I probably would, right? But I noticed the Most High is most acute in me, you know, when it's early in the morning. And so this morning, when I woke straight up, I laid in the bed for about 5-10 minutes. And I said, I am going to take this time to pray. I'm not going to sit here in the bed and hope to go back to sleep. I'm going to take this time as an opportunity to get before YAHUAH. So I got up and I got before YAHUAH, and I started praying, and I started dancing and really putting into practice what I received as a word from Moreh Yahusha in Rebirth Anderson. How we do it in Rebirth Columbia, you know, where we sing praises and we dance and we do it in a circle, right? Which is consistent with what the Torah teaches, the word teaches. Hebraically custom what we did, what our ancestors did, and what we are being reborn again into. And so, you know, I get up and I dance before YAHUAH, and I quote scriptures, portions of truth, not out of context, but portions of truth that He puts in my ruach, and I say them over and over again, just before YAHUAH. And I identify with what Moreh Yahusha was saying in reference to frequency. There is a frequency, a song, a sound that is who we are. And with the Most High, it connects us as we do the things that traditionally our ancestors did that Yahuwah put in us as just part of our DNA. And the interesting thing is that I was doing it last week, right? Because Yahuwah woke me up twice last week, 3 times last week, 2 or 3 times last week. And I think the last 2 times he had me to get up, and I started praying in the Ruach and started dancing, just going in. And as I did it, I felt the Ruach moving in the midst of me, right? So I understand, and I understood. I made the connection when I was listening to Moreh Yahusha and meditating on what he said, and recognizing that there is a frequency in Yahuwah that the people of Yahuwah has to fall in line with, right? There's a frequency, there's a way of doing, there is the old way that our ancestors, Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov understood, right? And the children of Israel understood that Yahuwah expects us to do. So I did that this morning. I just got up and I started praying, and then I just went in. And I went in for about an hour until Yahuwah says, okay. And then I went back in bed and I laid there, right? Expecting to go to sleep, right? Fall off, because that's what generally happens, I just generally fall off and go to sleep. But this time I laid in the bed. And I said to myself, get up and read ToRaH. Get up and read ToRaH. So I got up out of the bed. It's about 5 o'clock. And I started reading the ToRaH. Ezekiel 11 and Baruch, the 1st and 2nd chapter, 3rd chapter, just reading it and meditating it and listening to what Yahuwah was saying to me, and how he literally said that in Baruch it spoke of confusion of faces. And how because of our ancestors pursuing other elves, we are or were confusion of faces. And how Yahuwah ultimately has promised to regather us, right? Now, this was during the same time of the Babylonian exile, right? And how the children of Israel had been in Assyria under King Nebuchadnezzar, but Babylon under King Nebuchadnezzar, and how Yahuwah told the people, the remnant that remained in Jerusalem, that remained in the area that wasn't taken captive, right? How that they had to honor and serve Babylon. And that he would make them a little sanctuary, right? In the lands that they were scattered. And everything that we know in text and scripture repeats itself, right? Repeats itself. Only this is the last of the great Babylons. Right? This is the last one that's going to hold us in captivity. The remnant. That he has made a little sanctuary. in Babylon. And this remnant, he intends on gathering that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And as I meditated on that, YAHUSHA says to me, there is nothing to fear. And I'm not one to abound in fear, but the reality of it is that the things that are about to come upon the earth, that are even beginning to come upon the earth, we have never seen the likeness of any of it. The brutality and the destruction that our ancestors witnessed, we haven't seen that. Now, the only difference is that the destruction came to them because of their rebellion, right? And destruction that's coming to this nation and the nations in which we were scattered is coming because we, his people, which are called by his name, have humbled themselves and prayed, excuse me, and sought his face. And they've turned from their wicked ways. Not all of them, but a called out few assemblies, tribes, right? All over the world. And they don't have to fear because they have been promised a sanctuary amongst the nations that Yahuwah is going to level. The nations in whom he's going to destroy. The nations in whom he's going to bring famine, and pestilence, and destruction. And you can't anticipate it. You have to trust Yahuwah by faith through it. You can't anticipate it. You can't say, oh, well, you know, I'm all good with it. You know, you can't anticipate it. You know, you can't. You can't anticipate it. You have to trust Yahuwah. The just shall live by faith. Every day we trust Yahuwah to protect us and to keep us. And ultimately we overcome by the blood of Yahusha, right? And by the words of our testimony. We testify to the fact that Yahusha is our Redeemer. We testify to the fact that we've been made perfect in his love. We testify to the fact that we have been redeemed. We have been purchased by him. We testify to this. And ultimately, we don't love our lives unto death. You know, our forefathers, man, those who endured hardship, you know, your Jeremiah, your Yahu's, and your Isaiahs, and your prophets, who endured hardship because they knew that they had a building, a place. They had a kingdom that would come. So Yahushua was telling me, listen, I'm going to keep you in this hour. But you have to make sure that you maintain the desire, the passion, the ToRaH word on the inside of you that is necessary to strengthen you, to keep you sound. And if it means you have to get up in the midnight hour, if you got to get up in the 8th and the 9th and the 10th hour, right? Or the, I don't see 9th, 10th hour anyways, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. If you have to get up in those hours to visit with Yahuwah, apart from the chaos of the day, then you have to do it in order to continue to maintain the relationship and to be in a position to strengthen your brother. It's not just about you, it's about the entire Mishpokah. You need to intercede for your Morehs, your Achis, your Akotis, your Imas, your elders. You need to be able to intercede for those who Yahuwah has called to himself. You gotta do it. 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 Man of Yah, woman of Yah, you have to do it. So, the message, the lesson. Don't wait for Yahuwah to move you, to urge you. And you know, it's interesting because throughout the day I call on Yahuwah and I thank you and I praise Yahuwah. You know, I sit at work and, you know, I keep the ToRaH on my computer. You know, so I glance, I look, I read, right? But those special moments that you have with Yahuwah, those times that you know that in the stillness of that moment in time, when your Ruach is sensitive and quiet, and there is not a lot of noise and distractions, you can meditate on the ToRaH of YAHUAH, and you can find peace and rest and comfort in His Word. Man of Yah, woman of Yah, listen. It's that time. And we must position ourselves to be ready. Right? I'm talking more than just living right, because you should be living right, period. I'm not talking about keeping the commandments. You should be keeping the commandments already. I mean, this is something that you should be doing. I'm talking about doing the things that continue to fortify you. But the obedience part, that's something that you should be doing. I mean, you should know to obey Yahuwah. If you ain't obeying Yahuwah, man, what? Then all of this don't make any difference to you. You have to obey. So if you're a man of Yah, a woman of Yah, or professing to be a man of Yah, a woman of Yah, and ain't obeying, listen, you ain't got much time to get that right. You need to do something quick. But I'm talking about the maintenance. The maintenance. You get a new house, right? And you get comfortable with the new house, and you recognize the house is new. You know, you don't pay attention to some of the things over the year, 2 years, 3 years. And before you know it, because you've gotten comfortable in the fact that, oh, it's new, you don't worry about the maintenance. But then all of a sudden something happens, right? Oh, wow, I should have been taking care of that. Yeah, maintenance. So, the maintenance. Don't get it twisted. I ain't talking about, walking in obedience. You should be doing that already. I'm talking about the maintenance. Maintenance. Because the hour's going to come. And if you have maintained your house, then guess what? You'll be able to weather the storm. With that I say, man of Yah, woman of Yah, be blessed. ToRaH GuArDiAn, speaking the absolute truth. ToRaH Nation.